Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you can tell by the beautiful blue ocean behind me, we are no longer in the mountains of Chiang Mai. We've traveled about 825 kilometers south to the city of Pattaya that sits right on the beach. It's about an hour and a half ride south of Bangkok if you're coming from Bangkok. Today we're going to head out and check out a couple of interesting places, starting out with the one I'm at right now, which is called the Sanctuary of Truth. It's supposedly a castle, sort of a temple, kind of a cross between the two. What makes it really cool is that it's actually the largest wooden structure here in Thailand. It's made entirely of wood. I've been told that they didn't even use nails in joinery or anything, so that should make it really cool. It was built by local businessmen to honor Buddhist and Hindu values. They started construction on it in 1981. Its largest spire is about, I think, 105 feet tall. But yeah, it's pretty neat looking place so far. Looking forward to checking it out. And being the Sanctuary of Truth, yeah, I got a little bit of truth to tell you about how season 2 is going so far a little later in the video. But right now, let's go check out the Sanctuary of Truth. It's right over there. So that place is actually pretty cool. For somebody like myself who sort of really understands and appreciates carpentry, what they're doing in there is pretty incredible. You may have already seen as well in many of the shots people wearing hard hats, and that's because it is actually still under construction. They don't expect it to be finished for at least another year. So in essence, it's technically a construction zone. So that's why everybody has to wear hard hats. But for me, it's time to keep moving. So I thought we'd go down to the beach, take a little walk along Beach Road, and give you a bit of an update on kind of what's been going on here so far with season 2. It's not been great. Well, we made it down here to Beach Road, which is, well, somewhat aptly named. It's right by the beach. And I thought I would take this opportunity to kind of catch you guys up on sort of how season 2 has been going so far, because definitely not according to plan. It all started pretty much as soon as I got here to Thailand in Bangkok. When I landed, I had pretty bad back pain. Felt extremely fatigued, run down, just overall kind of beat up. And I really kind of just chalked that all up to like jet lag and fatigue from that. 23 hours on a plane, kind of thought that was where it all sort of stemmed from. So I really kind of took it easy the first 2 days. Just went outside for little walks here and there, went out to grab food, that kind of stuff. Really just kind of took it easy. And then on the 3rd day, I thought, well, I got to start getting out, got to start filming. And so I went out to actually what was the second video on the season, which was the Grand Palace and the reclining Buddha, and shot that. And as I mentioned in the video that day, by the end of filming that day, I was feeling pretty rough. The weather had really sucked the life out of me quite badly. And so the next day I woke up and decided to start editing the video together, and what ended up actually happening was what should have taken me, I don't know, 4, maybe 5 hours at most. By 8 hours of sitting at my computer that day, I was struggling to get almost halfway through. I simply just couldn't concentrate. My brain was just not working. And then the next day I kind of again took it easy, tried to drink a fair amount of water, and really just focused on trying to finish up that video, which I managed to do eventually, but it took way longer than it needed to. On the next day I went out and filmed the opening video for season 2, which was going up to the marketplace and the night market. The walk from the marketplace to the night market was rough. It was a lot further than I thought it was going to be, and by the time I got to that night market, I was exhausted. Again, just feeling very, very fatigued, and my back's still hurting. So I went back to the hotel to spend the next couple of days, doing the same thing, editing, going out for little walks here and there, going out to get food, but really not doing too much. And then the day before I left for Chiang Mai, it all kind of got a little bit worse. I started getting little dizzy spells here and there, got headaches coming in and out. Nothing crazy, not like migraine style headaches, but headaches nonetheless. And then by middle of the afternoon, I started feeling really quite nauseous. And so the night before I flew out, I was up most of the night throwing up. Sorry, kind of gross. I got to Chiang Mai and didn't feel much better. Spent that first day just kind of recovering. Again, I was sick, and I thought, you know what, I must have just eaten something really bad. Yeah, this will pass kind of thing. I then went out to film the video in Chiang Mai, going around to the temples and walking around Old Town Chiang Mai. And what I didn't show you in the video was on the walk back to my hotel at the end of that day, I ended up having to sit on a curb on the side of the road, because I knew that if I had continued to walk even just a few more steps, I was literally going to pass out. I got very, very lightheaded. The world started to get very dizzy. It was, kind of a little bit scary, if I'm honest. So the next day I gave in and said, you know what, I need to go pop in and see a doctor and see if I can find out what's going on here. So that's what I did. I found a travel clinic nearby my hotel, and wandered down there first thing in the morning. Met an absolutely lovely doctor who sat and spoke with me. And I sort of explained the situation right from the get-go, from the back pain all the way through. And in the end of it, he said, yeah. He goes, you're on the high end of moderate, bordering on severe dehydration. I'd never had dehydration to that level before, and was quite shocked that that's what it could have been. He explained that it sort of covered all the symptoms. The back pain wasn't going away because my body was stealing water from my muscles to function in my brain and other vital organs. Any water that I was consuming was immediately going to the organs to try and replenish what little was there, but wasn't really rehydrating me as a whole. So at first he was questioning whether he should send me to the hospital for IV fluids, but he then said, you know what, let's try this first, and he gave me some packets of powder to put into my water bottles for the next few days, which ended up really helping. I stayed inside out of the sun for the first day, drank 4 or 5 bottles of water with this electrolytes powder in it. By the next day I was feeling a good, I would say 50-60% better. And then the next day again, I kind of just took it easy and finished off the packets of powder. Only really went out a couple times to walk around and grab some food. The next day I was heading off to Chiang Mai, which I'd already booked. And so I was really hoping that by that day I would feel great. And I did. I felt, I would say 80% myself on that day. It was much better, much nicer. And overall, just the first true day that I actually felt human again. But unfortunately, I wasn't in Chiang Mai for very long because I hopped the plane and came down here right afterwards. And I've been here a few days now, and I can honestly say I feel almost 100%. The back pain has pretty much diminished and gone right away. I'm not getting dizzy at all. The headaches are gone. Definitely don't feel nauseous anymore. It's been really tough. I sort of, in a way, I had such high expectations for starting out with season 2, and I felt I kind of let you guys down a little bit, and I felt like I let myself down by not being able to get out and film all the things that I wanted to film and do all the things I wanted to do. So it's been a rough start, and I'm hoping that it'll only get better from here, and I'm hoping that the videos will only get better from here. So that's kind of how season 2's begun. It's been a lot rougher than I thought. But for anybody that's coming out here to sort of Southeast Asia, the weather here is no joke. When I was talking to that doctor, he was telling me, he goes, it's so deceptive how easy it is to get dehydrated here. He goes, you don't realize how much you sort of sweat and lose moisture through your skin because it dries so quickly and is gone that you don't really realize it until it's kind of too late. And so, I've been to hot places in the world, Africa, parts of the Med that are extremely warm. Just lots of different places that are very hot. But this place definitely dehydrates you in a way that I've never experienced before. So just be forewarned, if you're ever coming out this way, drink lots of water. But now we're gonna take off from Beach Road here. We're gonna be coming back here later in the video. So there's something I wanna talk to you about and something I wanna show you. But for right now, we're gonna head off to the floating market here in Pattaya and see what that's all about. So let's go. Well, we've made it. It took about 35 minutes by cab from Pattaya Beach all the way over here to the Pattaya Floating Market. Built in 2008, it's got about 300 different stalls. Yeah, looking forward to going to see this place and seeing what's on offer. I have been told it's a little bit of a tourist trap, but yeah, it's worth a look. Let's go see. Well, that's the Pattaya Floating Market. Pretty interesting place. First time I've had to pay money to get into a marketplace before, but it is neat. I was actually told that this was originally a rice paddy before they turned it into the floating market in 2008. It's also actually burnt down at one point in time and they've rebuilt it, so it's had a bit of a tumultuous life down here. As far as the shopping goes, if that's kind of what you're coming here for, you're not going to find anything overly unique. Everything down here I have seen all over Bangkok, Chiang Mai and Pattaya in pretty much every kind of tourist shop. There's definitely nothing too unique to the shopping itself, but it is a neat place to come and see. I would definitely recommend coming to check it out if you've got a couple hours to kill and you want to have some fun. But for us, it's time to get going, catch that big long cab ride all the way back to Pattaya Beach, because something else I want to talk about when it comes to Pattaya. Well, we've made it back here to Beach Road and it has taken a turn. As many people know, Pattaya is known for being pretty much a party town. It's got incredible bars, nightclubs, and yes, pretty extensive red light district. But what a lot of people don't realize is where all this came from. You see, up until about 1960, Pattaya was just a relatively small fishing town. There wasn't much here. But then in 1960, war broke out in Vietnam. and tens of thousands of troops from all over the world came flooding into Vietnam to fight the war. And as the war progressed, every once in a while, those troops would need a little bit of R&R, rest and relaxation. And so they would be given passes to head into town, into a different town, and take a break. And so places like Pattaya, and primarily Pattaya, became a huge hotspot for these troops. And so you can imagine when thousands of troops come flooding into your town with nothing but money in their pockets and time on their hands and wanting to have a good time, what kind of happened to Pattaya? I mean, obviously at first, accommodations, hotels, lodgings exploded. Next came all the bars everywhere. And then massage parlors, and then nightclubs. And then, of course, followed with the red light industry. And it absolutely turned this place from a small town into a booming city, and brought tons of people here. Now, after the Vietnam War, many people thought that that would kind of be the end of Pattaya, that would be its downfall, and it would slowly regress back to the small fishing town that it once was. That didn't happen. It actually grew, because what ended up happening was all these troops ended up heading back home and regaling all their friends and all the stories of all the good times they had, the parties they had, and the other experiences they had here in Pattaya. And so it got a bit of a global reputation. And instead of tourism slowing down here, tourism boomed. Now today, Pattaya sees well over 10 million tourists each and every year. And that number is only growing. And so Pattaya is not going to go anywhere anytime soon. I was hesitant to come out at night and show you guys around. But I did some research, as I like to do. And the red light industry here, even though many like to coin it as pretty seedy and underground, actually isn't at all. It's, even though it may look like chaos and mayhem and unruliness and unlawfulness, it's actually very well managed and controlled. There are safety measures put in place for everybody involved. It's organized. And from what I gather so far from people that I've spoken to and lots of videos that I've watched about it, compared to many, many countries in the world, nobody really even comes close to how organized and structured and safe the industry is as it is here in Pattaya. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the oldest industry ever, and it's not going to ever go anywhere. So, in my opinion, the safer you can make it for everybody involved, the better. And here, I think they've done a remarkably good job from what I've seen, what I've read, and what videos I've watched. But yeah, on the surface, it does look pretty insane and pretty chaotic. And I thought, what the hell? Why don't I give you guys a little look at what Pattaya looks like after dark.
I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I'm talking the lights on me. I tell you I guarantee these nights about to take a turn for the better. Now the rain is pouring and all I see is lightning around my feet. Now nothing can bring me down. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance. I just wanna dance till my heart goes la la la. I just wanna dance.
Do you miss me at all?